Hi, I'm Amy Hannon, and nothing thrills me more than people and food. I'm a preacher's wife, a mom of 3, and I own my own specialty kitchen store. I've kept an open door and a well-stocked fridge, which means I have fed a lot of mouths over the years. So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. I'm glad you're here. We are doing our Westrock Coffee feature recipe of the month. This is a fun way to use coffee, y'all. You know, we've done sweets a couple of times, and then of course we rubbed down that amazing pork chop. Have y'all made that yet? It is so good. That's one of the ones that I get texts about on my phone, people saying, that sure was good. I'm telling you, you need to try that one. But what we're making today is a coffee infused barbecue sauce. Isn't that fun? So we're gonna add a little bit of coffee into a homemade barbecue sauce that we're gonna let simmer on the stove while we cook the rest of our food and get everything else ready. And ultimately at the end, we're gonna make these amazing, just really fun little summertime, springy, light barbecue chicken sliders on little bitty dinner rolls with a really delicious apple and poppy seed and cabbage slaw. Doesn't that sound delicious? We're gonna toast those little buns and pile that meat right on with our homemade barbecue sauce. Have y'all ever made your own barbecue sauce before? It's really simple. Of course, for the sake of time, you can go and buy your very favorite bottle. But why would you when I'm about to show you such an easy way to make your own? Let me tell you what we've got going. Okay, I've got about 3/4 of a cup of a medium yellow onion. It's about 3/4 of a cup, which turns out to be almost like a full-sized onion. So it's 3/4 of a cup, 3/4 of an onion. Again, these are always up to you. If you like more of an oniony flavor, then do more. If you like less, then do less. And then I have several cloves of garlic that I've really spent some time on going over and over and over it again so that it's nice and fine and minced. You know, sometimes we just chop, which means you don't have to go over it as much. Sometimes we want a mince, and a mince means it's a little bit smaller, and it just means it's worth taking the time to go back over till it's nice and small. Okie doke? Because we're gonna saute these down in a little bit of oil and put them in our saute pan, and we're gonna cook them really nice and slow until they get really, really tender for several minutes. And then we're gonna pour all the other good flavors and stuff in our saucepan to make our barbecue sauce. So let me run over here really quick. I'm gonna give this a little swirl of oil, as always. And then we're gonna put in our onion. That we have chopped really nice and small. And then you're not gonna believe I'm gonna say this, because you know how I always tell you not to put your onions and your garlic in at the same time? Because we're doing this over such low heat, we're gonna put them in at the same time. And the reason that it's not gonna burn up, like the times I've told you before, you know, to be super careful about putting your onions and your garlic in at the same time. The reason that we can do it this time is because we're gonna add a little bit of liquid to our onions and garlic while they saute. And so it's not gonna just burn right up on the bottom of that pan. So what I'm doing is, I'm actually gonna take this spoon real quick and stir it. You know, this is my little measuring spoon that I use. I'm just gonna use it like a regular wooden spoon. And I'm gonna stir that around just a little bit. And then I'm gonna take this other end and we're gonna add, I don't know if you've seen these, we've used these on here before. They're so easy. I don't love to handle a real jalapeno. I'm just kind of a wimp that way. If you are that person who loves it and loves to put those gloves on and loves to be sure not to wipe your nose or get it on your lip, you just go right ahead and be that person. I'm terrified of that. And so I I like how they're already nice and chopped for me and seeded and in this little jar. So I take a really juicy scoop or two of these jalapenos with the juice, and I'm gonna do a couple of like good heaping teaspoons plus a little juice in there, just to add a little tiny bit of heat in our barbecue sauce. And we're gonna add sweet here in just a little bit too. So, we're not gonna go without adding sweet. Okay, so we're gonna let this saute a little bit until they're nice and tender. So I'm gonna keep my ear and my eye on my pot. I've told y'all that before too, that you wanna be sure to always be listening. And then as soon as those are sauteed and tender, which is gonna take a few minutes or so, we're gonna stir in some brown sugar and all of our flavorings. Our brown sugar, some cumin, oregano, chili powder, all kinds of good stuff, some salt and ground dry mustard, and then put in our tomatoes, put in a little vinegar, because we love that little bite of vinegar in our sauce, and let that simmer nice and slow. We're gonna do all of that when we come back. We're gonna toast our buns and make the most delicious slaw ever for our barbecue chicken sliders with our coffee-infused barbecue sauce. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by Westrock Coffee Company.
Hi, welcome back. We are making the most beautiful, delicious, and easy barbecue chicken sliders today with a really good apple coleslaw, poppy seed, yummy, cold on the top. I love slaw. I mean, we really could put slaw on just about anything. You know how we feel about chow chow. You could put chow chow on top of these even if you would like. But this is really good. We're throwing in a little green apple and some poppy seed to our regular slaw recipe. It's outstanding. So I've kind of started prepping our slaw a little bit, but let's get back to our sauce that we have started. Now this is our Westrock Coffee barbecue sauce that we're gonna flavor this up with. And what we've done is we have sauteed onions, garlic, and a little bit of jalapeno with a little juice till they're just really nice and tender. We just put a little bit of olive oil in it. And then over kind of a low heat, I'm dumping in some brown sugar and then just a combo of seasonings. These are like, you can get the full recipe on the website, but it's salt and a little bit of dry mustard and some chili powder and cumin, just the good seasonings that are going in here. It's a little bit of like a Mexican profile, but we're kind of doing it on barbecue chicken with a little bit of like a little Mexican kick in this is delicious. You're really gonna like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dump that in. It's usually about a couple of teaspoons of each. And we're gonna stir, and get those clumps out. And then for some sweetness, we're gonna stir in, you can use maple syrup if you like maple syrup. I'm using this pure cane syrup. It's kind of similar. Doesn't have quite the same flavor, but I really like the sweetness that it gives. It's just kind of an all-natural pure cane syrup. And I'm eyeballing 1, 2, a couple tablespoons of that in there. Ooh, and it's so rich. Rich and dark. And again, I'm kind of over about a medium-low heat because we do want this to kind of mix together and we want the brown sugar to cook down, but we don't want it to burn. So you do have to kind of stir a little bit. And then in just a second, we're gonna go ahead and stir in all of our liquid and then reduce this and let it just kind of do its thing back here. We'll get going on our good slaw. Okay, so see how that's already kind of come together? That's kind of our base, y'all. All right, ready for our liquids? We're dumping in a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes to this. Don't splash it on your shirt. Okay, 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. And you can't have barbecue sauce without a little bit of vinegar. And so I love apple cider vinegar in this. You can use white vinegar if you would like, but I just love the sweet of the apple. We're just gonna do a little glug. That's not a real measurement. There's a real measurement in the recipe, but for now we're calling it a glug. And then for a little more liquid, just a little bit of chicken stock And then for the surprise flavor of the day, we're pouring in a little bit less than a cup or so of Westrock coffee. And I'm using the Rwanda blend. It's always my go-to. I can't help it. I drink it and I cook with it. I really love it. And that is going to give us such a good rich flavor in here. I'm going to do about a half a cup and then I'm going to reserve the rest just in case I want to add it in. Now, what we need to do with this, we got all kinds of flavors. I mean, you've seen tons and tons and tons of flavors in here. This really needs to just simmer, 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 because what's going to happen is the flavors are really just going to marry and meld and mesh and all those other really good M words that happen in this pot. Good stuff, y'all. And it's going to reduce a little bit. And you really want to cook this until you start to really see some of it kind of get nice and thick around the outside. And then as that starts to thicken, you want to get your spoon in there and go right around the edge and get that good dark, thicker sauce that's kind of gathered around the outside and stir that back in, because that's what you really want to get. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So I'm going to kind of keep my ear to this. I've got it on about a little bit less than medium heat. I'm going to let that get nice and hot, and then I'm going to taste it and see what else we need to add. We may need a little more vinegar. We may need a little more sugar, salt. I mean, we're just going to have to see. And again, I've told y'all this before. This is my recipe, but if you all like it a little sweeter or a little tangier or whatever, then you just add whatever you would like to yours. All right, so let's talk about this yummy slaw. I've made a red cabbage slaw here before that is delicious. I know that y'all have made it. It has a little honey lime on it. It's really, really good. But we're going to kind of make a poppy seed dressing of sorts on this, and it's really pretty. I love poppy seeds, the way that they sprinkle and look in our creamy dressing and on our slaw. And I am just taking, this is probably, let's see, I did a half of a cabbage head, a red cabbage. I did the same with the regular old white cabbage. But I halved it, and then I halved it again. So we're really just doing like a quarter or so of a head. And we're just going to take a little time and take our good sharp knife and make some really nice thin shredded pieces and put it in this bowl with some carrots. And we come back, we're going to make our dressing and check on our barbecue sauce. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
Experience the local sounds, sights, and taste of the Fayetteville Farmers Market.
Do you know the producer behind your food?
What about how far away your food was grown?
Local to us means your food is harvested hours before traveling less than 60 miles to our market.
Enjoy music, chef demos, and special events while you shop for locally grown produce, meats, cheeses, flowers, artisan crafts, fine art, and more.
Visit us Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on the square.
The Fayetteville Farmers Market, 100% local and loved.
Hi, we're back. We are making barbecue chicken sliders with this beautiful slaw today, y'all. We're making a homemade poppy seed dressing in just a minute, but this is the most beautiful bowl. We have just taken a little bit of extra time with a knife and made really pretty nice little thin slices and shreds of red cabbage, some regular old classic white cabbage, some we just bought these little matchstick carrots that, you know, kind of come in the little bag at the grocery. I would never be able to get them that small, and they're perfect. That's a great shortcut. And then I cut a green apple into these little matchsticks, and that just takes a little bit of time too, not hard at all, and they are so snackable, so delicious. So we've got that right there in our bowl, ready to go to make our sauce. Let me tell you that our barbecue sauce we've been checking on, it is looking great. The color has gotten dark and dark and dark. We've got this pretty color around the outside. And just because of the acidity in the tomatoes, I added a couple of tablespoons of butter. Did you know that by adding a little bit of butter, that little fat really smooths out that real acidic taste in any kind of a tomato sauce? And since this is a barbecue sauce that is tomato-based, by adding that little bit of butter in there and stirring it in will really, really smooth that out. So it's getting nice and dark and pretty. I have a big skillet over here, preheated, because we're going to take this. Y'all have seen these. I mean, look how those came right out of their container. These are those store-bought dinner rolls that are kind of sweet. I'm gonna take my big old knife here in just a minute, and we're gonna cut those right in half, tops and bottoms and all. And we're just gonna lay those over there on a really hot skillet and let those start toasting. So we'll have a toasty sweet bread, this yummy, tangy pulled chicken. Oh, and chicken, look, just a bunch of pulled chicken. These are 2 small rotisserie chickens from the deli. We didn't even make the chicken, so that's a really nice, quick shortcut that we take. And so it's all kind of coming together. All right, let's go on to our yummy sauce for our slaw. I'm going to do a couple of tablespoons of mayonnaise. And you know, mayonnaise is mayonnaise. It's not the salad dressing. It's the real deal. We love the real deal. Okay? And then we're going to take a little bit of apple cider vinegar, which is nice because we have that flavor profile over there in our barbecue sauce. A couple splashes of that. And then I have the juice of a lemon. I'm just going to do this in my hand. You can use your juicer, like if you have a little gadget. But I'm just going to squeeze it in my hand and make sure that we don't get any seeds. Okay, yep, I caught the seeds in my hand. So we want the juice of a lemon. I'm going to squeeze this side real quick. Oh my goodness, y'all, this slaw is good. You don't even have to have it on top of barbecue. This would be great beside a pork chop or brisket or even just your burger for like Memorial Day weekend. It's delicious, y'all, or by itself, my word. With that apple in there, oh, it's over the top. Okay, and then I'm gonna add to it a couple of good drizzles of olive oil. And I use light tasting olive oil. You know, there's the one that's a little darker that some people like to use. But I really only like to use that if I'm doing like some hardcore Italian cooking and I really want to taste the olive oil. If I don't really want to taste the olive oil and I really just want, you know, kind of its function, then I use light. And then we're going to do several heavy shakes of these pretty little dark, dark blue poppy seeds and give it a little whisk. And then I like to taste this. If you want this a little bit tangy, you can leave it just like this. If you want it a little sweeter, you can add a little pinch of honey, a little pinch of sugar, kind of whatever else you would like to make that sweet. And you know, I lean sweet, so I have a feeling I'm gonna want that to be a little sweetened up. I love the sugar in mine. Actually, I think I'm gonna squirt a little honey in there real quick. And then we're gonna toss this on our salad and all this yummy slaw that we've prepared. I'm going to sugar that up in just a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and let's slice our bread and get that nice and toasty, because when we get ready to come back, we are going to put these together and load them up, show you how good these are. I'm actually going to take some of these to a friend. I know I say that all the time, but I actually mean it every time. I have somebody who just had a baby, and I'm going to run these over separately. The buns separate, the barbecued chicken separate, the slaw separate, with little instructions for them on how to kind of pile them all up and eat them however they would like, and it'll really keep great. So if they can only eat tomorrow at lunch, or they can't eat them again until, I don't know, a couple of days, then they can just have them whenever. So I'm just taking my really good long bread knife, and I'm being really careful and going right through the middle of this entire whole block of these good little dinner rolls. I'm gonna stir our sauce. I'm gonna toast these buns. And then I'm gonna sweeten that dressing a little bit with my honey that's out in the pantry. We're gonna toss it all up, build a little sandwich when we come back. This is Cooking Today. We're back. We are wrapping up our Westrock Coffee feature recipe of the month. We have made a delicious homemade barbecue sauce that's got a little nod to Mexican barbecue sauce, kind of a yummy little southwestern flavor. We've added in some cumin and some chili powder and some really great flavors. A little bit of jalapeno in there too, remember? So we've got a little spice, plus the traditional flavors of kind of a molassesy syrup and brown sugar and apple cider vinegar and all those good flavors that we love about barbecue sauce. So I told y'all I'm gonna send this away to somebody, so I'm not gonna assemble them all. I'm just gonna show y'all how to assemble one so that I can bag it all up and send it with my friends. But here's what we've got. We've got a bowl of the shredded chicken, and then I'm gonna ladle this sauce right on, and then just give it a little toss. We just want it to be kind of coated, and then you can serve the extra barbecue sauce on the side if you would like. And I'm gonna get 2 little forks really carefully since we have these nice little baby sandwiches. Gosh, this smells so good. And isn't that rotisserie chicken such a nice little shortcut? Okay, and I'm just gonna take my forks, and these are messy and delicious and wonderful. Put them right there and pile it high. You could do another little drizzle right on top if you would like. And then this beautiful slaw, messy, fresh, and gorgeous. Look at that slider, y'all. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna eat that one and send the rest to my friends. Is that pretty or what? Westrock Coffee, feature recipe of the month. A beautiful barbecue chicken slider that's fresh and wonderful and unique. It smells good, y'all. Hope you'll try it at home and love every bite. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by Westrock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays. Groceries provided by Harps, Hometown Fresh. Online Elements sponsored by Fayetteville Farmers Market.